Hey guys, Altavis Pelter here, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. Guys, this Power of Why series is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all your feedback. Thank you for all your reviews. Thank you so much for all your comments. Man, you guys have been going in on some of these topics. And today is an even like this one is going to go a little deep. It's going to touch your heart a little bit because we're going to talk about money. And it was funny because in my mind, we were talking before we started recording, and as she was talking, I heard breakup strategy, and that is definitely not what she said. But there's a reason why that really stood out. So we'll hit on some things with that, and we'll really dig in deep when it comes to why it's important for you to have some money conversations in order for you not to belittle or take away from the power of your why. So with that being said, hello, Dawn.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you. And this is about to be an amazing experience because I won't tell their business, but I'll tell mine. Me and money did not get along. So I don't know if it just did not like me, it didn't want to show up. So I had those moments in those years in business where I was making negative money.
That's common though. It's so common.
So, Dawn, let the studio audience know a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to dive into today's topic.
Absolutely. So I'm Dawn Kennedy. I'm also known as the Entrepreneur's Money Coach or Entre Money Coach. I'm a Navy veteran, a mom of 5, a grandma to 3, and a doormat for all of the fur babies that are running around now, taking advantage of my kindness.
First and foremost, thank you for your service.
Thanks.
And when it comes to money, so I don't know. I guess it's ingrained in us from early on that money is just it's a dirty topic. It's just dirty. But the reason why the breakup strategy came up in my head is because I personally had to break up with bad money habits,
Yeah.
or else I was going to destroy what the power of why was meant to be.
Yeah. Um, Money is one of those things. Everybody needs it to get certain needs met. But then at the same time, we have these stories that we're told from the time we're little about don't want too much, don't ask for too many things, don't do this, don't do that. And as business owners, we actually walk into this, and I see business owners start with, I don't need to make that much. I don't need to make more than X. This is all I need to make and I'll be fine. And I think what gets missed there, and you want to talk about the power of why, your profit is your impact. If you want to have an impact in your community, in your society, if you want to be generous and you want to give money and you want to hire people and give them opportunity and you want to do all of those things, you must make a profit. And we have to change the conversation around money being something we should be ashamed of, something that we are not supposed to talk about. And we need to make it so that it's something that we realize we all need to have at some level. And it's not a bad thing to be a business owner, to be given a gift that you're going to bring out to the world as an entrepreneur and to be compensated for it in such a way that you create more and more opportunity where you live.
Ooh. So so we're going to do a rapid fire real quick. And I'm going to give you some myths that are out in the world when it comes to money. And man, there are a ton. So we won't do all of them.
Yeah, we'll be here for a few days.
We'll be here for quite a while, right? We'll have our own quarantine when we start that list. But there are some really important ones that stand out in my mind when I think about when I first started in business, and now that I've elevated in business. And so the first one is when I first start, I need to charge what everybody else is charging.
Yes. So what that takes away from is the fact that you were given a unique gift to bring to the world. Everybody's point of view is different. That is why 2 or 3 people who do the same thing in the same industry do it differently. And what we lose in that is this idea that it was something given to you, like a seed into. Entrepreneurs cannot stop being entrepreneurs. There's just something inside that doesn't go away. The fire burns, and it's something that you have to do. And when that's you, and you look to the left and you look to the right, and you're like, well, everybody else is doing it this way, and that's all I should charge. You are actually robbing your own innate, unique point of view that you've been given, because there are certain people who will only hear what they need to hear from you. And there are people who you are meant to work with. And so if you do that, you're robbing yourself of being fully expressed and being able to bring everything out to a level that you're charging what you should be charging. And you're also robbing your clients of the opportunity to invest in themselves by paying you.
Okay, second one is I'll just put the money in and buy, and I'll worry about making money later.
Yes. So I hear this a lot where people are like, I just need to make overhead, and then I'm going to invest another 100% of my profits. And I always ask, are you paying yourself? And 90% of the time they say no. I said, so are you hungry? Are you getting that hot shower? No, because you can't pay the water bill. You know, it's like you have really super skinny kids because you can't feed them very well. Basically, what we do is we invest all these things and we buy, but we don't actually take the time to step back and go, am I really self-sufficient? Am I paying myself every other week? Am I able to pay my own paycheck? The entrepreneur must be paid. You will show up differently. You will serve differently. You will have a different outlook in your business. You will love your business more if you are being paid. And so everyone who says, well, I just have overhead and I'm going to invest the other 100%, my answer to that is, you're not actually being fair to yourself, because part of your overhead needs to be what you also need to make, and your taxes that need to be paid. Because the last thing you want to do is to get in trouble there. But you won't necessarily lose your passion, but the way that you show up and do your business when you're losing money every month is different than when you're paying yourself and being really fair to yourself and giving yourself a tangible reward and compensation for what you do.
Okay, and I'll do the last one. The last one is, well, I don't have to get a business license because I can just do business and get paid under the table.
Yes. So that to me is not a business. A business has its own entity. So not just the business license, but I have found that people who don't want to get a business license also don't want to get a business checking account, and they don't want to separate their personal and business checking, and they don't want to have business expenses that they write off their taxes, and they don't want to be, I guess, seen as legitimate. And to themselves, that may feel okay, but the fact is, again, you're kind of hiding your gift. If you start making $100,000 a year in a side hustle and you're not a legitimate business, there are only so many people who will do business with you. After time, you will actually cap who you can serve, because they're not going to want to do business with somebody who doesn't have a business license, a website, and those kinds of things. And if you're going to get paid under the table, that means you're hiding. And that's not actually being fully serving either. So I encourage everyone to have a separate financial identity, and then also a business identity. And it doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be crazy, and you don't have to become an LLC, but you do need to be legitimate, or else you're going to block people being able to come and work with you.
I love your perspective on it too, Dawn, because one of the things that a lot of people, when they talk about finances, is people shame you. Oh, well, you weren't supposed to be doing this, and your parents never did this, and you never did. And that sounds great, and it motivates some people. But when you think about it, how you just said it was, you're not living up to your greatest potential when
Yes.
You're not looking at your finances in this way.
Right. Yeah. You're not living up to your full potential. You're also going to be blocking people from coming to work with you. I mean, there are people, and I'm one of them, that if you're not a legitimate business, and if you're just a side hustle, that's one thing. But if you're trying to play like a legitimate business and you're actually not acting that way, I actually don't necessarily want to do business with you, because I think it also falls on me and how I look, that I don't hold you in enough esteem and respect to hold you out as a legitimate business. There's a relationship there that is a respected relationship. And and in a way, I would personally probably feel like I'm taking advantage of you in some way. And I know a lot of people would feel that way as well, in that you are right for doing this hiding thing and this kind of, I don't really want to necessarily be associated with that. And I don't want to do business. And most of the people who do that as well, they cut their prices to the bone. They don't even charge legitimately what they should and what their value of their time is, because they're just under the table. So, they're a third of the price of everyone else. And it makes you wonder, and you're like, And then am I taking advantage of somebody's legitimate expertise because I'm paying them under the table? And I think that all business should be done very transparently. I think that we should be in these business relationships, and these should be also long-standing relationships, because somebody who does this and they hide for a while, either they're going to get caught, they're going to get in trouble, they can't afford to get out of trouble, and they go under. So now their gifts are lost for a while. Or they're going to get frustrated because they can't make what they should be making, and they're going to quit. So you're only really helping them out for a very short period of time. Those types of businesses do not last that long. You want to be in it for longevity. You want to be in it to have impact, and you want to be in it to reach as many people as you're supposed to reach.
Oh man, this episode, guys, is one that I want to make sure that you guys are honing in on and listening clearly, because again, we know that when it comes to finance, there's so many different things that go on conversation wise. Even now, finance and businesses and entrepreneurs, they're having some really interesting conversations, because everything affects them.
Oh yeah.
The pandemic affects them.
Yep.
The racial tension affects them.
Yep.
What we're dealing with, in the government affects them. And so some of these things, it's because it goes back to the financial part of their business. And so when we're not tuned into the financial part of our business, we're missing out on the key conversations that can really elevate us. And I think for way too long, we've been sitting on the sidelines, looking at other businesses and saying, wow, I want my business like that. But we didn't know what the strategy was. We didn't know how to get off the bench. And so we just tried to do it from the bench, and it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. And, it's so interesting, because now in this time, it's the easiest way to start a business. You go online, you go on Facebook. There are people who sell on Facebook, and do garage sales and things. And if they do them, not just casually, but consistently, then that is a business that they're starting. And I think we have kind of watered it down, the definition of business, that people feel like, oh no, I just do that on the weekends. It's like, okay, but you're a business. And I think if people sit on the sideline and they go, oh, I wish I could be like that, what they're doing is they're actually widening the gap from where they are and where they want to go, when in reality, the gap is not that far. There are 1 million people starting businesses all the time. Now, entrepreneurship, though, and being in it for the long haul, there's actually not that many. So if you're an entrepreneur, I'm going to give you a statistic. There's 582 million entrepreneurs in the world out of over 7 billion people. That is not a lot in the world. So, having that drive, having that want to, bring your gifts. But the other thing is to be in control of your own life, to go out there and make the money that you want to make and do the things you want to do, and be in control of your calendar and your schedule, and be able to write your own ticket. That is something that is very unique, in that there are a lot of people that will not trade that safety of a paycheck and a job for the opportunity to go forward and write their own thing. And I do believe that, again, you're right. That all comes back down to money, because it's like, I don't want to leave my secure deal. They pay me every 2 weeks or every week. I don't want to leave that. And it's something where you have to realize, and you have to come to grips with, the financial security you have over here, you could also have with your own thing. If you are willing to step up and serve, whether it's a product or a service, whatever your offer is, that you're in it for the greater service, and the money will follow. That is the big thing. So it does all seem to come back to finances, whether or not people start businesses, consider their business. Well, I only do it on the weekends. Oh, I only make, $500 a month. You're in business. That's amazing.
Yes, indeed.
You should be deducting stuff. You should be getting all the benefits of being an entrepreneur.
Oh my goodness. And so, yeah, that's always an interesting topic, but I've seen the shift even in this year more than ever, because jobs weren't secure. Companies did shut their doors. They shut all the way down, and you did not have a job. Yes. Even when we think about, it was last year that the government shut down, and guess what? People started companies.
Yeah.
It's happening on a regular basis, but you got to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position that, again, that power of why, we don't want that to be diminished. Like, we don't want to take away from what we can really do in the world. And when we're not looking at the financial piece, we're only halfway.
Yeah.
Doing it. Like, we're half butting it, y'all, and we can no longer half butt it. I learned that from the hard way. I was doing business without a business license. I was the one that I was not making money. I told you I was making negative money. I was the one that was investing a whole bunch of money in speaking on stages and traveling and this and that, and not getting that in return.
Or you weren't probably getting paid either.
Exactly. And unfortunately, I was in a community at the time that was happy to have me spend all of my money. And
their business model was giving you these opportunities, but not actually giving you a return on your investment. There are those businesses that have those business models. I'm not a fan. But yeah, they do exist. So you do want to know who you're doing business with. They do need to be transparent, and come out into that whole light thing. But I do want to challenge a little bit too, having that why. And this is something that some people really don't like me to say, but money can be a why. Money can be one of your whys. It can be, I want to do better. I want to have more. I want the house that I want. I want to drive the car I want to drive. And if you come by it ethically and you get your money doing it the right way, you can have whatever you want. You can do it the other way too, but you may end up in prison. So, you want to do it the right way and do it the ethical way.
Win a GoFundMe. We can't.
Yes, you could end up with a GoFundMe. So, but yeah, you can actually make money part of your why. There's nothing wrong with that. Society, though, tells us that we shouldn't want that. We'll be greedy. We'll be this, we'll be that. And, you have to step back and kind of examine that a little bit. Who is telling you this? Who is put that in your mind? Is it the millionaires that are putting this in your mind? No. Is it the self-made people who have built beautiful business, starting up from scratch, strapping it all the way, bootstrapping all the way along? No, they're not telling you that. It's the people who aren't making any money that are telling you would be greedy if you made it by yourself. So that is a huge mindset shift that I had to deal with in order to be okay charging what I charge, and people pay my prices, and serving the way that I serve, and people come to my events. So there is an audience for what you have and what you do. And it's okay to make that part of your why, that I want to also make money. I mean, you can be outrageously generous and give money back and donate and give monthly gifts when you're making money. And that is an amazing feeling to be able to have that kind of impact in your local community as well as society as a whole. But you can really make a difference in your community as well.
Yes, indeed. That was one of those life lessons that I learned. And then there's so many examples of it that I see now, and I'm like, so you're telling me I've been doing this whole business thing for 6 years and I'm just getting to the part where this is actually a business. Like, I'm just getting to it. And, I've taught before to my clients that we go from, employee mindset to side hustle mindset.
Yes.
From side hustle mindset to entrepreneur mindset.
Yep.
But then there's this shift that people don't realize, and it's going from entrepreneur mindset to CEO and small business owner mindset. There's things that a small business owner does that an entrepreneur doesn't do. And the CEO can't do what the entrepreneur does in every aspect because they wouldn't have a business.
Exactly. You have to step boldly into each phase and each evolution, if you will, but you also need to know what is outside your zone of genius, and you have to be willing to go ahead and find the right person to do that with you, not for you necessarily, but with you. And again, that comes back to that money conversation. So you nailed it on the head when you said money is half of the story, because the money thing, the fear around money, the relationship with money, the way we view money is keeping a lot of us stuck, and it's keeping a lot of us from growing and having even greater impact and, more clients and more products and more services. So it's an important conversation to have. But because we don't like to talk about it, I'll talk about money all day long, but I'm the exception, not the rule, because I love talking about money and how to grow it, how to make more, how to have more profit, how to pay yourself better, how to take care of your community. But because most people won't talk about it, you have to have resources and ways that people can get the information that they need and not feel embarrassed doing it. So we have to change this conversation around the shame about money, because as business owners, it's not intuitive. I didn't learn this all by trial and error. I obviously had some training as well, but I had to go through a lot of the bumps and the bruises that you've gone through. And I don't know a single entrepreneur that's ever come out unscathed that says, I've never made a bad business decision, I've never lost money. It just doesn't happen. It's what you do with that that's going to make the difference in your trajectory.
Exactly. So, Speakeasy podcast listeners, this episode again is one that you needed to go take notes. You need to make sure that again hit that magic pause button, hit the rewind button. Go ahead, make sure that you jot some things down, and really take a look at that's why breakup strategy came up in my head. What do you think you break up with when it comes to your money strategy, your finances, your revenue? Are you even making a profit? Are you making any money? There are many people who are an entrepreneur who is a brokepreneur because they're not making that money, or they're in that model or that system where they're putting all of this money out and they're not making a return on their investment. Yeah. You guys have to be deliberate about what you're going to do when it comes to this business, because guess what you do today sets you up for what you will be able to do tomorrow. And it doesn't matter whatever is going on around you. Yes, things will change, but every time you take action today, it will set you up for something else that you can do tomorrow and the next day. So I want you never to forget that. This has been an amazing episode. And Dawn, I want you to let them know how they can reach out to you for more information, and also where they can find you at online.
So if you go to Entre Money Coach, ENTRE Money Coach, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. And I have a couple of freebies on my website. One is pricing for profit. and one is on cash flow management. And you can access those by going to entremoneycoach.com, and you can get either of those freebies there. And again, those are available to you. So if you are one of these people that doesn't want to admit or talk about it or whatever, you can start doing some self-help stuff right away. Go read the blogs, go do the things. All the information's out there. I don't hide anything because my passion is seeing small businesses succeed.
That's it. It's all about the success, moving forward and elevating in life and business. Speakeasy Podcast listeners, we appreciate each and every one of you because guess what? Without you, there is no Speakeasy Podcast. So with that being said, make sure that you join the conversation, bit.ly/World Voice Community. Come join the free Facebook group and let us know how this particular episode resonated with you. Or leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. We definitely want to hear back from you because we want to see you grow and elevate. In this year, we are going to finish the year strong. Yes, we definitely can. And this Power of Yes, Power of Why series is definitely one of the ways that you'll be able to do that. With that being said, I am your host, Altavis Pelzer, your voice manager. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.